Welcome back to Marshall Remodel. This is the Mad County Build Series, and today we're going to go through trimming out windows, how I'm dealing with a couple challenges. But if you look around here, I got all of these big windows done, all of these windows down here, the slider, the front door. So we're going to deal with the smaller windows. I have 3 more big windows up high to do, and all the windows and doors upstairs. For the most part, this has went pretty smooth. There were a couple spots where I had some proud drywall, and I'll show you how I've dealt with that. So you can see we are using poplar because we're going to paint it. We've got all the nail holes filled. We just have to go back, sand, caulk, prime, and paint. And we chose to put all this up first because we really don't have a really good spot right now to prime and paint, and so we're going to put all of the casing up around windows and doors and prime and paint it in place. Baseboard I'm going to prime and paint prior to putting up. As you remember, if you guys have followed this, I had these jambs pre-installed, and I guess I have mixed feelings on that. For the most part, that has been really nice, but on a couple occasions, this window in particular, I wish I could have just, built this whole box as one unit and then slid it in. But for the most part, it's gone pretty good. This right here, we had some proud drywall right down below here, so you can see this is out a little bit, but I'll be able to fill that in pretty easily. It's not a very big gap. That's just one of those things you have to deal with. I feel like in every house I've ever done, you come up with at least 1 or 2 situations like this, which I have in this house. So overall, it's going pretty good. Well, let's go ahead and go get some measurements on these smaller windows. I have a bunch of small windows so I can mass produce my trim as long as the measurements are pretty consistent, which I think they are. We have kept it really simple. It's just what we like. We have this bottom. We did flush with the bottom sill, and it sticks out 1 inch. Then we have our 2 side casings that go up, and then our top casing extends 1 inch. And this comes down to personal preference, guys, and that's just what we wanted. We wanted to keep it nice, simple, clean. So we need to get a couple measurements. One, we're going to get a measurement across the bottom. I'm going to do inside of jamb to inside of jamb, which is 34 1/4. My casing is 3 1/4. Then I want to add an 1/8 inch reveal and 1 inch overlap on each side. So 3 1/4 plus 1 inch is 4 1/4 plus 1/8. That's going to be 4 3/8 on each side. And then as far as these side ones go, we are just going to measure up flush with that sill to the top and have an 1/8 inch reveal. So we're at 58 1/4 plus 1/8 is 58 3/8. All right, so here's the first window, and I'm just going to take you through step by step how I go about this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some sandpaper, quickly go around the edges just to knock off any loose particles, any drywall mud, stuff like that. All right, so I'm going to start with my bottom board. And I know that if I mark 4 3/8 in, that is the part of my bottom casing that lines up with the inside edge of the window. So if I do that on one side, I know the other side should equal that. 4 3/8, just a little mark. And then if I line that up, check the other side, it should equal 4 3/8, which it does. So one thing I will do with each of these boards, which I should have done this outside, is I'll just take my sandpaper just lightly hit the edges. Just take any burrs off. And now, when I put this up, I pretty much will be eyeing everything. So I'll put this bottom one up, get it nailed, set my side trims up, and eye my reveal on both sides. And then I will take my top casing and set it on top, making sure I have an inch overhang on each side, which is what I plan for. So now that we got this up there, we'll check our nail holes, make sure the nails are recessed far enough. We'll fill them, and then we'll come back later once I have all the trim done, hit it all with light sanding. Then we can prime and paint and do any caulking if there is any that needs to be done. So it's just kind of how the process is that I like to do. This style trim is really simple, clean, easy to do. I know I got some proud drywall, so I'll show you how I deal with that here in a minute, but I'm gonna go ahead and putty this and wrap this one up. The putty that I like to use is this Elmer's wood filler. If you look at it, it's kind of like a runny material, but it dries really fast and hard, and it sands really nice. Alright guys, so here's one of those instances where I have proud drywall, and I don't like to just fill this full of caulk if I don't have to. And this is just kind of one of the reasons that I felt like it had been a little bit nicer just to build the jambs and the casing all as one and slide them in. So most of the windows have been pretty good, but this is one of the ones that hasn't. So there's a couple different ways we can deal with this. One, you could always just fill that with caulk, which I don't want to do. So I just cut a little shim that will slide in there. So that'll all get nailed in flush, and then I'll sand it and it'll look real nice versus just filling that with caulk. The piece going up, I can just notch a little out of the back, and then it'll have a little ledge that'll hang over this, and it'll be perfect. So I'll show you what this looks like when I get done. I'm going to set the camera down, nail this in, sand it, and you'll see, and then I'll show you what I do on the sides there. So now that we got that in there, we can continue with our side trim. This one's okay. This is where the problem was, right here, like down from right here, like across. So we got this problem solved down here by adding that little shim. The side one, we're just gonna notch this part of my casing going up by 1/8 inch, and then the edge will touch here, and the edge will touch over here because it'll be a little L cut out, just maybe like 1 blade thickness. It will slightly cant this, but nobody will ever know unless they really look closely. So it looks way better like that than having a gap here and then having to just cram it full of caulk. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I notched this out with my table saw so that it would sit down and fill that gap. So all of the windows in the house, sliding glass door, the main front door, are all officially trimmed out. So got them trimmed out, got all the nail holes filled. Now we're gonna transition to doors. Still a lot of work to be done with these, but at least it's all up. We'll lightly sand it, caulk where it needs to be caulked, and then we're gonna prime and paint all of this white. If you guys are interested in Craftsman trim, this is a real simple, easy way to do trim. It's pretty forgiving. If you have proud drywall, it's pretty easy to deal with that versus using like mitered corners and stuff like that. We will keep you updated. I'm gonna work on trimming out doors. We have the regular style doors, which will be pretty simple, and then we have pocket doors. We'll bring that to you in another video. As always, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and we will catch you on the next video.